Welcome back, everybody, to the Leroy and Elena show. I'm your host, Leroy Jones.
And I'm Elena Lopez. And today, folks, we are beaming up for something special. Star Trek just turned 59 years old. Yes, 59, which means next year we'll have a whole Diamond Jubilee thing. And we're celebrating with an intergalactic panel of friends.
Oh yeah, this episode's like a Starfleet crew of its own. We've got Ryan Stark, host of Real Reviews with Ryan Stark.
Hey. Happy to be here, ready to talk Trek. I promise to not misbehave today.
I highly doubt that, Ryan. We all know how much you like to misbehave.
We've also got Christina Marsdale and Susie Speckles, also known as Snarky Susie, from Fandom Fundays.
Hey, thanks for having us. I brought my tricorder, so we're set.
And I brought my sass. Somebody's gotta be the Klingon in this discussion.
And rounding out the transporter pad, we've got Tierra McGuire, Kerrie Chang, and Humphrey Goldstein from Tea and Tolkien Thursdays, which they host along with Susie. Welcome, crew.
Thanks. I promise not to nerd out too hard. Okay, that's a lie. I'm totally nerding out today.
Same. This show is basically our Super Bowl, if you know what I mean.
And I'm here to keep these girls from hijacking the podcast with their Tolkien metaphors.
But don't we always do that every Thursday?
Exactly.
Alright everyone, let's dive in. Star Trek premiered in September 1966. It got cancelled after 3 seasons, but now? It's a massive cultural juggernaut. So here's my question to everyone. What's Star Trek's biggest legacy and why does it still matter 59 years later?
For me, it's the vision. Star Trek was never just about spaceships, it was about people, cultures, and possibilities. Like, yeah, you had phasers and warp drive, but the real power was seeing a future where humanity actually figured out how not to destroy itself.
Yes, and don't forget the diversity. I mean, the bridge crew in the 60s had Uhura, Sulu, Chekhov, a multicultural cast during the Civil Rights era and the Cold War. That was a huge achievement.
And let's not forget Spock. He basically invented emo space logic. Without Spock, we wouldn't have all the brooding alien heartthrobs that came after. Looking at you, Kylo Ren.
Oh, shots fired.
Did you actually just go there, Susie?
How dare you compare that spoiled brat to Spock? Kylo Ren is nothing but a Darth Vader wannabe.
Yeah, Susie. You just can't go around comparing Spock to that moody whiny brat and get away with it.
Okay, girls, that's enough. We all know that Spock rules and Kylo Ren drools. Now, let's move on.
What's this? Ryan Stark isn't simping for Kylo Ren? I'm shocked.
This is completely unexpected.
Ryan, are you okay?
Never mind that. Let's continue.
Everyone is keeping quiet about it, so I'll say it. Star Trek walked so many other fandoms, such as the Lord of the Rings could run. Like, fandom conventions, fanfiction, cosplay. Star Trek built that infrastructure. The original Trekkies were basically the blueprint for modern fandom.
And yet, people forget how wild those fans were. They literally saved Star Trek from being cancelled earlier by writing letters. Imagine handwriting letters to NBC, like actual snail mail activism.
Okay, but let's not pretend that the original Star Trek's always been perfect. There's camp, there's cheesy episodes, there's William Shatner, being William Shatner.
But that's part of the charm though. I mean, Shatner's pause-filled speeches are practically their own special effects.
Alright, let's get spicy. I mean PG-13 spicy. Which era of Trek do you all think aged the best and which aged the worst?
Now you're speaking my language, Elena. Star Trek, The Next Generation aged beautifully. Like, those moral dilemmas? Still sharp. But early TNG fashion, yikes. Too many leotards, not enough mini dresses.
Yup. And Ryan starts simping once again. I knew it was too good to be true.
No, Kerrie, this time, he actually has a point. The Next Generation's clothing style was a total epic fail, if you know what I mean.
Agreed. And Voyager deserves more credit than it gets. Janeway walked so future sci-fi heroines could strut in boots.
And if anyone decides to mention Queen Amidala or Rey, I'm going to scratch their eyes out. They don't deserve that title of Space Queen.
Fair enough, Tierra. We need more Ashoka Tanos and less Rees.
Here's a hot take, the original series has aged the worst. I love it, but some of those gender dynamics. Big cringe energy.
Well, we can blame the whole thing on Turnabout Intruder. One of the worst episodes in all of Star Trek history.
I don't know who allowed that particular episode to even be made, but I already know that Gene Roddenberry wouldn't have approved of it.
Well, did you know that Turnabout Intruder was voted one of the worst TV episodes ever in 2016? And it deserved it too.
And if that particular episode was made today, it would have killed the franchise for good. Yes, it was not a good ending to what was a great series.
Anyway, Deep Space Nine aged like fine wine, though. That's serialized storytelling. Ahead of its time. If you rewatch it now, it feels more in line with prestige TV.
And we cannot forget the fact that Deep Space Nine made an episode dedicated to the original Star Trek for its 30th anniversary, when Sisko, Jadzia Dax, O'Brien, Bashir, Odo, and Worf ended up on the famous episode, The Trouble with Tribbles.
I remember watching that episode. The way they were almost seamlessly injected into that episode with very limited technology is still very impressive.
Exactly. This is one of the reasons why Star Trek endures. It's not afraid to look back on the past while boldly moving forward.
As for Enterprise, though, let's just say it deserved better, but it also didn't exactly help itself. That theme song? Absolutely cursed. As in, every time I heard it, my ears wept.
Oh God, Faith of the Heart. That song still haunts me.
And that series finale. Which turned out to be a major cop-out. Come on. Star Trek can do so much better than that.
At least the Star Trek Kelvin movies were better than what the later Star Trek series was offering, and that's saying a lot.
Alright guys, let's lighten it up. We're now talking about everyone's favorite captain. Let's go.
I'll start, Sisko. Dude punched Q, end of argument.
Picard, all the way. Calm, wise, diplomatic, but he'll also lay the smackdown when needed.
Aren't you forgetting something, Ryan?
Why, thank you, Tierra. There's the whole story about him and Q, which carried from the beginning of the Next Generation to Star Trek, Picard. Plus, I wouldn't mind being tormented by Q, he seems kind of fun.
And now we're going back to Ryan being a simp. Seriously, Tierra, we were trying to avoid this.
Sorry, Elena, but it's not an episode of the Podcasters Roundtable unless Ryan is simping for someone. Everyone knows that.
Exactly, Tierra. Ryan isn't Ryan if he's not being a misbehaving simp who uses bad language.
Hey!
It's the hard truth, Ryan. Deal with it.
Absolutely. And as for my favorite captain, it's Janeway. Coffee in that nebula, baby.
Well, Christina, if you're choosing Janeway, I'm choosing Kirk. Not because he's the best, but because he's the messiest. And messy captains make good television.
I second Christina and choose Janeway. She's basically a sci-fi mom holding the crew together with caffeine and sheer willpower.
Sisko, hands down. That whole emissary arc? It gave me goosebumps.
Well, I'm boring, so I'm choosing Picard. The man could convince me to recycle with one speech.
And to round this out, I'm going with Christopher Pike. It's about time someone put some respect on his name.
Exactly. Pike has either been captured, tormented, or shot in almost every version of the show. Will he never get the respect that he is owed?
Agreed. It's time for Pike to take back his day.
Alright, closing thoughts. What do you want to see from Star Trek as it heads into its 60th anniversary next year?
More exploration. Less action movie stuff. Give me diplomacy, debates, and strange new worlds.
More diverse storytelling. New perspectives, new cultures.
Less nostalgia bait. We don't need Spock's cousin's roommate's backstory. And, yes, that was a Spaceballs reference if you're into that sort of thing.
Agreed. Just let Star Trek boldly go again.
And maybe better theme songs. Please.
I just want merch that doesn't cost as much as a warp core.
Amen. Well, that's it for today's voyage. Huge thanks to Ryan, Christina, Susie, Tierra, Kerrie, and Humphrey for joining us on the bridge.
Happy 59th anniversary to Star Trek. May it live long and prosper for another 59 years. Live long and prosper.